Atticus, want to
Yes.
get into Godzilla versus Kong.
Yes.
So a little context. Um, you haven't seen any of the previous MonsterVerse films. So
No.
2014's Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, or Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Nope.
I had not seen either of them before this week, but I
Oh,
binged watched all of them before I watched Godzilla versus Kong.
good for you.
I think it enhanced the viewing experience. Because there are, characters and storylines set up, like with Monarch and with Millie Bobby Brown's character and like her dad. Like it seems kind of irrelevant in this film.
Mhm.
But that was set up in like Godzilla King of the Monsters. Um and Monarch with Godzilla being like the king of the monsters, like they went through all that and the movie
Yeah.
titled King of the Monsters, and like we had all the stuff with Kong and him being on Skull Island and him being trapped there. That's all been set up. I know you said that you're probably going to again on HBO Max watch them on your way to Florida.
Yes. That's a lot of movies that I need to watch on the way to Florida.
2014's Godzilla, great. Kong Skull Island, great. Godzilla King of the Monsters, yeah. I think on my
Meh.
letterbox I gave Godzilla
Meh.
2014 4.5 stars out of 5.
Oh
So which
wow.
is equivalent to 9 of 10. I gave Kong
Wow.
Skull Island 4 stars out of 5, equivalent to 8 of 10. I gave Godzilla King of the Monsters 2 stars out of 5, which is equivalent to 4 of 10.
Oh wow.
So not a
Nine
massive
and a
fan of
half out
Godzilla
of
King of the
10.
Monsters. Huh?
Nine and a half out of 10.
Nine
What?
out of 10. 9 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
Because it's 4.5 stars out of 5, which is equivalent to
Uh,
9 of 10. I love 2014's Godzilla and Kong Skull Island. I really, really love those movies.
yeah.
So yeah, but let's get into our discussion on Godzilla versus Kong. But first, we will throw to Thomas. Don't know why I did a British accent, but Atticus, was it a good accent?
Yeah.
Okay, you can mute yourself. We will throw to we'll throw to Thomas for his thoughts on Godzilla versus Kong.
So, Godzilla versus Kong, the next installment in the MonsterVerse, which is a franchise I am not very interested in. I don't really enjoy any of the films. I guess Godzilla's the best of them, the 2014 one. The rest of them are sort of mediocre at best and they're downright bad. Godzilla King of the Monsters is not a good film at all. And I guess you could call this a step up. It's a film where there's a lot of contrast. There's really great, really cool, well directed action scenes, which is, I guess, what you're there to the movie saw. But there's also very bad and boring and irrelevant character interactions, which, it's not the main point of the movie. The main point is see Godzilla beating up King Kong or vice versa. But it would still be nice to have those character interactions. I think it would make the film better and enhance the better to have characters you actually care about. I mentioned the fighting. A standout scene for me was the scene in the sea with boats, massive boats. I thought that was shown in the trailers a lot, and it was a great action scene. I really did. I just found fun. It was fun to see King Kong and Godzilla fighting. This was a film with King Kong. I guess was the main sort of monster here. A lot of the focus was on him compared to Godzilla, who was a bit sidelined. But he did have a recent film, the more recent film of the two. Again, I said this at the start. It's not a film I'm a massive fan of. It's not really my cup of tea. It's not really the films that I would like to see. But they're fun for what they are, and if you enjoy them, that's fine because there is a lot to enjoy in them. But yeah, they're not really for me. But I thought this was okay. I'd give it probably maybe a 6.5 out of 10, just based off the monster action scenes alone.
All right, so those were Thomas's thoughts on Godzilla versus Kong. He is wrong, but we can move on. No, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. And he
Their
did
wrong
make a lot of
opinion.
good points. I mean, when it boils down to it, it's a monkey and a lizard fighting each other. So
Yeah.
it isn't the height of cinema.
Exactly.
But as I mentioned, I kind of love the MonsterVerse, so don't hold anything against me. But like I
I have
really do
no
love the
opinion.
series. This definitely felt like King Kong's film.
Yes, I
He
agree
was
with
definitely
that.
the focus. You didn't really get any development with Godzilla, but that makes sense because you had 2014's Godzilla, and you had Godzilla King of the Monsters 2 years ago in 2019.
Yes.
Both of those are set in concurrent times. Kong Skull Island takes place in 1973, so that doesn't even
Oh,
take place in current time. So this
oh
is the
wow.
first time we've even seen him in the series in modern day. So it makes sense that he would be more of the focus. And as far as the human stuff, I quite liked Rebecca Hall and like her, adopted daughter.
I did like that too.
I quite liked that. Millie Bobby Brown with the conspiracy theory guy and like her
I thought that
friend.
was hilarious.
Like it was fine. Um, it was set up a bit in Godzilla King of the Monsters, but like, that wasn't a great movie to begin with, so like I wasn't too attached to it.
Yeah.
But like it was fun. Like I didn't think anything about it was aggressively bad. The fight scenes
Yep.
were great. As we talked about earlier when talking about Thundercats, Adam Wingard knows how to direct action. Every
Yes.
fight scene in here was really, really well done. As you said, as Thomas said, the boat scene was amazing.
Yeah.
I really liked how that was done, and like they really get you to care about Kong in this.
Yeah,
Like
they
your
do.
heart kind of goes with Kong. But
Yes.
then they do develop Godzilla as well when we get the reason why he was mad at Monarch, which was all this stuff was set up kind of in previous films. But they were making Mecha Godzilla, which just like
Mhm.
from the Japanese films, like they did Mecha Godzilla, guys.
It's so
They
cool.
did
It's
it.
so cool. It's so cool.
Like they did Mecha Godzilla.
It's so cool.
um, yeah. So Atticus, I'm curious as to your overall thoughts on this because with this being your first film in the MonsterVerse and this essentially being like the end game of the MonsterVerse, this is what everything was building up to. What do you think going in kind of blindly into this movie?
Well, I did think it was a solid action movie, and I came in with it like open minded. I didn't want to be like, oh, it's just another King Kong versus Godzilla movie. It's gonna be garbage. But I came in going like, this is gonna be entertaining, hopefully, and I came out of the experience with just uh, a good review. I felt like it was a good movie. It had great, like as you said and Thomas said, great action scenes, and um, yeah, I really did love the connection between Godzilla and King Kong, and then the Hollow Earth stuff, and then
That was
the
beautiful.
yeah, yeah,
Like this is a beautiful movie to look at, just visually.
agreed.
It is
Mm-hmm.
a beautiful movie. I mean, it's sitting at 76% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is
Which is better
solid
than the
for
Godzilla King of Monsters movie, right?
by far. That got 43%.
Oh,
Now, I believe 2014's Godzilla got 77 and Kong Skull Island got 76. So this is right on par for those.
nice.
Um, but no, like I really enjoyed this movie. Like I said, it's like the Hollow Earth stuff. That was beautiful.
Yeah,
I like that and that's another thing, like the world building in this is really good. This was just a fun, entertaining movie that actually
mm-hmm.
had some like quality filmmaking in it. The thing is, so like Alexander Skarsgård's character, not too memorable, but
Yeah.
like I mean Rebecca Hall and her adopted daughter really enjoyed that stuff. Millie Bobby Brown, I don't know, I kind of wish they didn't bring along the friend. Um, he was kind
I,
of there for no
I
reason.
I liked him, but yeah, I can see how. Yeah,
I would like to just see. Millie Bobby Brown's character develop a bit more after what we saw in Godzilla King of the Monsters from her. And then Brian Tyree Henry, like he was fine. He was a fun character.
Very
But
fun.
yeah, like I mean, overall, this definitely has its weak points.
Right.
I'm not going to not acknowledge that this has weak points, but
Uh-huh.
it was a lot of fun.
Agreed.
This is just a plain fun movie. So Atticus, one pro, one con.
One pro, one con. I think one pro would have to be Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah,
Just Mecha Godzilla.
that's all you need to say.
Yep. A con. I did. Okay. What bothered me was that while King Kong and Godzilla were in the water fighting,
Yeah.
they held their breaths for like a couple, like not a couple seconds, but in the like 30 seconds, and then they had to go up for air. But they have like huge lungs, and I was like,
fair.
wait, can't they breathe for longer underwater? I don't know. So I was a little, disturbed by that. It was minor, but
Just
um,
yeah,
I
and
was like,
nitpicky.
what?
Fair.
Yeah, but that, and I did not like the antagonist's motive. It was
Yeah,
kind of weird.
it was.
I
That's the
didn't
human
agree.
stuff that isn't great. For me, a pro would be this. Like, this is an action movie, but it's filled with a lot of heart and good filmmaking
Yes.
at its core.
I
Uh,
loved when they learned that Godzilla can actually, or not Godzilla, King Kong can sign language to them.
yeah, like there are some really nice moments in this film, and it's shot really well. The visual effects are stunning. Like this is a actually fairly well made film. A con for me is so like the human stuff, as I mentioned, Rebecca Hall, all of her stuff, that works for me. Alexander Skarsgård, not so much. Like I was half and half on the human stuff. The
Yep.
villains, are completely unmemorable.
Yeah.
Care less about them. Uh, like they really had no impact other than we made Mecha Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
But like we didn't really need to see them. We could have just
Yeah.
said these people made Mecha Godzilla, and I'd be like, okay, cool, Mecha Godzilla.
Sounds good.
So that was definitely my one major con. But as far as like pacing, that was solid. Which is usually one of my biggest like nitpicks, but like it was paced pretty well.
Yeah.
Paced very well. But
And it wasn't too long.
what is your final rating for Godzilla vs. Kong?
I'd say, I believe I like my first reaction, or my first, like when I was talking to you about it after I first watched it, I believe I gave it like a 7.5.
I think so, yeah.
And I think I'm gonna stick with that.
7.5. On my letterbox, I put I'm gonna stick with it here. 4 stars out of 5, 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Really like. Also, you can check me out on Letterboxd. Teens Talk Movies, all one word.
I should do that on my way to Florida. Just write a bunch of movies that I've seen.
Yeah, like you should just log everything in, and like you can
Everything.
not necessarily everything, but like I put what I could remember immediately in, and then I just threw in, extra stuff as I, remembered it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I did see that movie.
I remember seeing that movie.
That is our thoughts on Godzilla versus Kong.